Rightio then, ladies and gentlemen, how on earth are we? I am mixed, to be honest with you, because we actually have a brand new studio space. I've done probably the most stressful thing realistically that you can do, which is move both your home and your work all at the same time, which is fantastic. But I thought this was going to be a perfect opportunity to walk you through the new studio, walk you through the new setup, everything that I use for gaming, everything that I obviously use for filming this, and show you a little bit of like the GPU collection. I know you guys want to see it. And as I say, just kind of seize this opportunity to walk you through basically everything that's happening with me, but then also everything that's happening with the PC space at the moment, because we haven't really spoken too much about it. There's a lot of stuff going on, so how has it affected me? How's it affecting you? And ultimately, is this something that is going to change anytime in the future? Is PC gaming suddenly going to go back to normal, or are we kind of stuck like this for a while? I kind of want to answer everything in one big video, so stay tuned and you can see all of the new additions that we've got to our setup. It's very, very exciting, and I'd love you guys to come along for the ride, so stay tuned to learn absolutely everything you need to know right after a short word from this video sponsor.
The Corsair Frame 4000D has unlocked its full potential, letting you create your ultimate PC case. The Frame 4000D comes in black or white, and whilst it looks awesome on its own, you can get super creative with panels in glass, wood, and even RGB. You can swap the internal frame for something with easier cable management, customize the PSU shroud, and completely swap the side panel for something with more glass, airflow, or even fit a gigantic touchscreen panel. Get your perfect Frame 4000D today with a link down below.
So yes, it definitely is a very exciting but a definitely weird time for me right now, because like whole life has been like kind of just tipped upside down. I like the fact that I'm outside of my comfort zone, but there's been some days this week where I've been feeling like, oh great, everything is fantastic. Yesterday was one of those, but quite literally the day before I felt really low. I was like, oh my God, this space isn't going to work. Everything's like changing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cope with it. I think these are normal emotions for when you're moving, but as I say, when you're moving your personal life and your work quite a way, it's like an hour 45 for when I was before. It's intimidating, but as I say, it's exciting because you don't want to be doing the same thing forever. So moving the space just kind of gives me the flexibility to do new things, but then also just to kind of make things a bit more interesting, really. Now, I do want to walk you through absolutely everything that we've got here in great detail, but the first thing I want to do is walk you through my setup that I'm actually using for both work and a little bit of play, because I don't actually have a gaming setup down here at all. So my workspace and my kind of play space are exactly the same. Now, this by far is the most exciting thing that we have here. I've actually filmed a video all about this. I don't think it will be up by the time you're watching this. If it is, I'll leave it in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Not entirely sure, but this is very, very exciting because this is actually OLED, but fundamentally it's 5K-ish, but it's 39-inch. So I've been waiting since OLED first came out, really, for this form factor to come in OLED flavor, because as we know, I love OLED. It's like my favorite thing really in PC gaming at the moment. It's the only thing that's like getting better and coming down in price, which is a good thing, obviously. This is not going to be particularly cheap. It's not $2,000 or so, but it's certainly getting on for that. It's a fair bit more than $1,000. Current pricing and stuff I'll leave a link down below. But the reason that this is incredibly exciting is because it actually has, as I say, that kind of 5K resolution. It's essentially a 4K monitor with extra resolution on the right and on the left. So because it's 39-inch, it just kind of takes up all of your peripheral vision, but it's still very, very comfortable to use. A lot of people will say, well, why don't you just get like a 42-inch like LG TV? Obviously, that'll be much cheaper. You can still get an OLED, it won't be quite as fast, but it will be 120 Hertz. Isn't that everything that you need? And if you're comfortable with that, then yes, absolutely fantastic. But obviously that's a flat screen, and because it's so much taller, personally, I find them a little bit uncomfortable to use for a prolonged period of time. It depends on your use case. People always comment and say, no, I've been using this for ages. It's fantastic. You just need to get used to it. So fair enough. I'm not here to judge. It's all about getting right. It's all about getting what's right for you. But personally, I think this is kind of like the dream setup, really, in terms of the monitor. And it's turning itself off, obviously, because it's OLED and it's trying to protect itself. Now, in terms of the PC that I'm using, some of you will have already seen this video. If you haven't, it's in the top right corner of your screen. We'll go down nice and low. Look, there it is, just to make this look as classy as possible. But this case is the BF360 from Haven. We've got an RTX 5080 Founders in there. For now, we've just got I would say pretty bog standard, but it's a pretty good one, actually. It's a Nautilus 360 all-in-one liquid cooler. You can find it for around about £100, $100 or so, maybe slightly more than that. Again, like current pricing on this and the link to the video will be linked down below. But I actually am planning to water cool this rig at some point. It's just obviously moving is taking up like all of my time, which I think you'll agree is fair enough. As soon as we can get around to water cooling that'll be back on the cards. But for now, this is just kind of sitting here doing exactly what I wanted it to do, which was to be super powerful, great for video editing. It's super, super slick. Please go watch the video if it is available, where we can show you what this thing is capable of. It's fantastic. Speakers, I've had these for a while now, so if you actually want to get yourself a bargain, I'd highly recommend that you get some of these on eBay, because you can probably find them for what? Maybe like £250 or dollars or so. I mean, obviously, you know, it's going to vary, but because these aren't brand new anymore and because they're speakers, you know, the tech doesn't exactly change massively and they still are awesome. So these are the Bowers & Wilkins 685 S2s. I've got someone looking at me through the door. They think I'm weird here. It's all right, you guys know that that's not true. I'm just a bit quirky. Again, this is an amplifier I'm sure you can't buy anymore, PM 6005. Genuinely speaking, you know, I always recommend people get themselves a decent monitor because it's what you look at. And obviously it's going to last for a very, very long time. Audio is kind of even better than that, because if you get yourself a pair of analog speakers and obviously wire them into an amplifier yourself, then that in theory can last for like decades or so. There's still plenty of people that use stuff from like the 80s and so. And you know, obviously there's new technology, but fundamentally if you get speakers that you love, you can use these for years and years. And if you do buy them used on eBay, then honestly, you can get yourself such a bargain. Case in point, actually, for my personal setup at home, I've just got these sitting in the office here for now. I've actually upgraded it for, what's it going to be? It's going to be 7.2.2 with some of these. They're Focal on walls. So again, got these on eBay for they're less than half the price of what they should have been. So essentially that's going to be like 2 ceiling speakers and then 7 speakers all around the room, and those are going to be some surrounds essentially. So yeah, it's a little bit of a, not a wormhole, a rabbit hole, that's the word I'm looking for, when it comes to audio, because as I say, yeah, if you're willing to buy it used, you can just get yourself some crazy sounding deals essentially. Now let's move on and actually talk about the rest of the studio though. So obviously this is going to be the bit that's going to be make or break for the channel. We've upgraded one of our lights, need to do it with one of the others. These are some NAN lights. The cameras that we've been using, this is being filmed on our FX30, but the cameras that we actually use for production are Blackmagic. So this is a Gen 2 6K, this was the original one. And then we also have one up here that we use as an overhead. So we've changed a few things around now. The desk is the same. This will be really sad for a lot of people because they always say, it's too wobbly. I've looked into this and it's only when it's in the standing desk mode that it's wobbly. I feel like that's just physics, I'm afraid, but we'll see what we can do. Now let's go wide just to show you this in hopefully all of its glory. Oh, come on, focus, there it is. Thank you very much. So I stand here, this is essentially what I will see. There's a lot of stuff to kind of move around and get the angles and things right. But the lights, what I've learned anyway, compared to what I used to do, they need to be really high. We move this around here. We do the same with this one. Having the egg crate on it is really useful because it doesn't kind of light the background as much. But the main thing really for me is obviously just kind of working out what I want this to look like, because at the moment, this is not exactly the sexiest background. But before I start doing anything that's arguably destructive, obviously the last thing I want to do is to kind of just go with it, wing it, and then not like it and have to like redo it all, because you have to put everything back here as you found it, which is difficult when you're obviously drilling holes and things. And yes, that's for future markers to deal with anyway. But at the very least, we're certainly going to paint this background and kind of have it similar to what we had before. But I am wondering whether we should turn this whole thing around. I'll come back here so you can kind of see it in situ, because it's not actually a very wide space. So I think the thing really that would probably look better is if I can kind of make this a really nice backdrop and then have the desk here. So obviously it would be blurry, but if you kind of had the...
Might not be a good time. That gentleman here to fix your half door.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to come back later?
Is that all right? It's okay, it's okay. I'm not weird. Someone just wanted to look at the door. It's okay. There it is, panic over. What was I saying? Yes, the space itself, as you can see, just isn't exactly that wide. So yeah, if I flip it around, we come around again, look, and the camera's here, then obviously this will be blurred because it have some proper lenses, and just the depth is the thing that's going to make quite a big difference. So I mean, look, if we try and lock on, that's not going to work. If we lock on, look to this mouse, get it close, you see how obviously the background blurs. I actually think this would look quite nice as a blurred background, and then obviously it gives me plenty of flexibility so that I can just, well, make it look nice and pretty essentially. Because at the moment, as you can see, Kaledi just moved in, even the piece of Centric plaque's not even up yet. This is just a case of boxes have been delivered and I've just got it into like the minimal working space. That's essentially the way that this is going to work. If you're wondering what these panels are, they will be going on the walls. These are just acoustic panels. These are good ones actually. This is what I had on the ceiling at the old place, but obviously we'll just be able to put them on the walls. The good thing here is that the ceiling is much, much higher. So the bounce that you're going to get isn't quite so extreme. But then the thing that really took a very, very long time was actually just to get everything moved here from the old space. So obviously we've got the GPUs and like the CPUs and RAM and stuff that we had before. And now, yes, we've obviously been able to move this across. If you're also wondering what's over here, then this is what I like to call the fan drawer. Look, there it is. And guess what's underneath? You'll never guess. It's more fans. Fans take up so much space, it's frankly ridiculous and ludicrous. But then in here, this is probably more exciting, this is where all the CPUs live. So we have our Intel drawer, then we have our old Intel drawer, then below that we have, you guessed it, our, random SSD. We have our Ryzen drawer, our AMD current drawer, Ethernet cable getting caught, and then we have some random RAM. It's because I move stuff, all right, guys? This is normally super neat and tidy. Ignore me. We just didn't want to damage anything. Then we have obviously our old AMD CPU. So there is actually some organization to the chaos, I'd like to say. It's been a lot to kind of do yourself. I've had help, so massive thank you to Editor Carl that's massively helped out with the move, as well as my partner Thea, who's she's done a lot, bless her.
I don't mean it like that.
It's 2026, you can't say the wrong thing now. She's been an amazing help, so yes, a massive thank you to Thea for helping with everything. But yeah, should we talk PC gaming? And I will attempt to actually make the set a little bit more attractive look with a camera. There you go, look, it's some background. Not everything is here yet. It's been a weird year. It's been a weird kind of 6 months. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people that I talk to, regardless of whether they're in the industry from like the component side or like other YouTubers, other people obviously working in the PC space, there's some worry going around. And I think that's fair enough, just for several reasons really. Obviously the first one, and I think the most important, is just that this hobby is kind of based on the fact that people can buy components and people can build gaming PCs. And obviously when the price of RAM kind of skyrockets and sits there for obviously a very long period of time, essentially costing you an extra $200, and then a couple of months later, SSDs are now like $150 just for the exact same thing. Well, suddenly, if you're wanting to build a gaming PC, you know, for 400, 500 pounds of dollars or so, that's almost certainly gone and out of it unless you're very, very savvy and essentially getting it from someone that doesn't necessarily know that their old computer is worth more than it is essentially, right? And if you're wanting to buy stuff new, which I think most people probably do, comes with the warranty, you get the latest tech, what do? I mean, you move that light actually into the right position. I think that's better. Is that better? Yes, there you go, you can actually see me now. I just don't want this hobby to die, to be honest with you. I want people to be able to get into PC gaming like I did. It really was a case of, I was a console gamer, I didn't really know that much about PC gaming. I kind of used my dad's computer to play like a couple of PC games like Age of Empires and things, but I certainly wasn't a PC gamer. And it was only when I went around to one of my friend's house that was properly into PC gaming, and at the time he had two GTX 480s, which go and look it up. Those things made an absolute racket. They ran ridiculously loud, and it really was absolutely mental. But it was really, really fun when you would go over there because it'd have like the 3D vision kit that was brand new at the time. And I remember playing Just Cause 2, and I was just hooked on PC gaming from that moment. The game looked so much better, and obviously you had the extra option, which at the time was the 3D, to do stuff that you just can't do on console. And this has obviously developed over the last few years, and it's pretty much the same story now, right? There's ultra-wide monitors, for instance, like you can't do that if you're on console. You've got so many different options and so many different levels of flexibility that if you want to use it as a games console, you can. But if you want to build a computer and it can do everything, you can use it for work, you can use it for play and everything in between. You've just got one system that actually kind of makes a lot of financial sense because you get so much out of it. So if suddenly this is unobtainable for whatever reason, whether that's price or actual part availability, then that is worrying, because it just means that less people are going to be buying gaming computers, and obviously the hobby and the number of PC gamers could start to go down. I don't think that's going to happen, because fundamentally really what it looks like people are doing at the moment is just shelving it for a bit. We're waiting. It's like, it's okay. I would like to upgrade my PC, but I can wait an extra year or so, right? That in itself isn't a problem unless you actually need something specifically now. But the question is more,
It's not that.
The question is very much, how long is this going to go on for? Is this something that will end in a few months? Is it something that will take a few years? And we still don't really know. I mean, AI seems to be kind of, from an investor point of view, from my understanding, people are taking it with a lot more caution than what they were at the back end of last year, which is why obviously so many people were kind of buying up all this allocation of memory, whether that's SSDs or RAM, and that's kind of like taking a bit of a back seat now. So this could either continue to go that way and people are not investing in as many data centers and things, and the demand for parts starts to kind of go back down and we get them again, or it could be the opposite, where actually it makes more sense to invest more money in AI again. There's still pent-up demand from loads of PC gamers, and maybe people are prepared to like pay more money and this just becomes the new norm. Or probably realistically will be something more or less in the middle of those things. So, you know, I'm concerned about it from consumers, but then also, as I say, you know, just being honest with you guys, as a PC gaming YouTuber this year, it's not been particularly easy. I don't want any sympathy here. This is just the way it is. That's the point, you know, of this video, just to update you. You know, but it's not great. It's going to be I'm going to be significantly worse off this year than I was before. But thankfully, you know, I'm pretty sensible with what I do with the income from this channel. You know, we save it when we have a good year. You know, you're aware that the next year might not be so good. So sure enough, when you get a bad year like this, it should be absolutely fine. I'm not worried about it, but it's certainly going to be noticeable. But I feel for other creators that aren't in this same position for whatever reason, whether that's just the size of the channel, or as I say, maybe they've got a load of staff, they've got a load of, like massive office space and things like that. You know, if you've got a lot of expenses, this year is obviously going to be quite tricky. And regardless of whether you're in like writing, YouTube, like you're a shorts creator, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're specifically doing just PC gaming stuff, then obviously you're affected this year. By the fact that, you know, quite rightly, people obviously aren't quite as interested if they can't buy the stuff, especially if you're a PC building channel, where obviously you're building gaming PCs for people that want to build gaming PCs. But if people don't want to build gaming PCs because they're too expensive, then obviously that is going to have an effect. But hopefully this is temporary, and I at least love the fact that I am here to help you guys through this weird kind of situation that we have, whether that's by buying slightly different components or at least advising on what the best components are. Obviously all the other things that you can do. I did enjoy the video that I did a couple of months ago where we actually spoke about all the positives of PC gaming, and like compared to where it was when I started, I mean, it's still in a very, very good place. But yes, the price of memory obviously has impacted everything. So, but I think for me, I just want to kind of make the most of everything that we have here, want to make the most of the channel. I still love PC gaming, that's not changed. And obviously when you get something like that 39-inch OLED that comes in, you know, it's like a kid at Christmas again, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. I just love playing with the latest and greatest tech. So it will help when we get new, like properly, new CPUs and new graphics cards as well. We can start the cycle again. I don't know when GTA 6 will come out on PC, but my money would be on that's the real turning point, I think, when the hobby goes from on the back burner to suddenly everyone wants to get involved and obviously build the latest and greatest PC specifically for that. But who knows when that will be? A year and a half, 5 years? I don't know. But all I know is that everyone is praying for the exact same thing. Hopefully things will get better in the not too distant future. I think at the end of the year, we might start to see things taper off and become a little bit more attainable. But in the meantime, if you've already got a PC, you don't need a new graphics card, you don't need a new RAM or SSD, then it's a good time to upgrade stuff, because everything else is pretty affordable, is less money really in terms of sale prices, purely because less people are buying computers, so they've got to be more aggressive really with the pricing. But yes, that is the situation, and that is what's going on with me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please smash the like button, and if you haven't already, get subscribed, because that massively helps out a channel like this. But yes, as I say, I'm just excited to get started and to make this the absolute best that I can. If you do want to check out current pricing on anything that we've featured here today, then as always, you can find those listed down below with our affiliate links.
And while you're down there, why not get your dream PC case with a Corsair Frame 4000D? With interchangeable motherboard trays, front I/O options, panels, frame kits, and more now available, the ecosystem is finally here. Whether you want a clean, stealthy build, a showcase system, or something completely unique, there are now countless ways to make Frame your own. To make things even easier, Corsair has also just launched a dedicated configurator that lets you build and customize your case exactly the way you want it. So what's stopping you? Create your dream case today with a link down below.
But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll catch you in the next one.